All right, so we're just here uh doing the exam 3 review, going over these quite a few questions. Nothing that's hasn't. Some of them are kind of confusing, but gone through quite a few of them with the practice and everything. So we're just gonna go on through them. Angel, if you want to go ahead and start.
Yeah, well, we're just gonna at the beginning of the first couple of questions are gonna be we gotta decide in which hypothesis test to use, and we got a list on a couple of hypotheses. For example, we have the example number one, which is in an article in the Journal of Small Business Management. Successful startup business in the United States and Korea were compared. One set of data compare educational level, high school, undergraduate degree, master degree, doctoral degree of people who manage successful startup companies in the United States and Korea. You want to determine if the education level differs between manager or successful startup companies, differs between these two countries, which hypothesis test will be the most appropriate for this analysis. And this one is going to be age, which is a chi-square test of independence.
Okay, awesome. Second one says a human resource manager reported data from a recent inventory reduction in force RIF at our company. You are an attorney and want to determine if the age discrimination was a factor. It is illegal to discriminate against employees because of age. The company reported that the number of employees in two groups, 40 years old or younger, and over 40 years old. They also reported the number of employees in each group who were terminated. You want to determine if both age groups were treated equally. Which hypothesis test would be appropriate for this one? Wouldn't it be? It would be G, a test of two portions.
Yep. Yeah, the two proportions.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. And then for number four, we got a survey was conducted by a group of state localities, and random samples, 2,400 adults completed the survey. A total of 248 were classified heavy players of these, and 152 were males. You want to determine if the proportions of male heavy lottery players is different than the proportions of male in the population, which is 48.5%. Which hypothesis test will be the most appropriate for this analysis? And it's going to be a test of one proportion.
Test one proportion, so that makes it
the F. Yep, F.
F, perfect. Okay, number 5. This is a student project compared the effectiveness of two different combination locks. One of the locks turned clockwise first, and the other lock turned counterclockwise first. They asked 25 students to participate in the study. Each student was given a combination to each lock and asked to open the locks. The time it took them to open each lock was recorded. They wanted to determine if one of the locks is easier to open. Which hypothesis test would be most appropriate for this analysis? Let's see with this one. Really not sure, actually.
I'm totally sure that it might be the per sample t-test. So C.
C? The pair
C.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. C.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, for number 6, it's a weight gain during pregnancy of the mother is important indicator of infant health. A simple random sample of pregnant women in Egypt, Kenya, and Mexico was used to determine if the weight gained during pregnancy differ in these three countries. Which hypothesis will be most appropriate for this analysis? I'm not quite sure, but I don't know if we can use the ANOVA.
That's what I was thinking, the ANOVA.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Should we go for that one?
I would say we should go with that one.
Okay.
All right, so then 7 through 10 are kind of similar. Going back to some old information. Deciding which confidence interval to use. Here's a list of confidence intervals we have studied so far this semester. For questions 7 through 10, identify one confidence interval that is most appropriate for the given situation. You must use a confidence interval once, more than once, or not at all. In the answer box, type the letter that we use. So the number 7 says a bank employs two appraisers, which when approving borrowers for mortgages, it is imperative that appraisers value the same type of properties consistently. To make sure this is the case, the bank evaluates 6 properties that both appraisers had recently valued. Which confidence interval would be the most appropriate for the study?
I'll go for C.
That's what I was thinking. C, the paired.
Yeah, per sample T confidence interval.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for number 8, the Wall Street Journal article of satisfaction with career path. The percentage of I don't know how to say that. Physiology.
Where is it at?
Number 8.
Number 8.
Yeah. The percentage of
psychology.
Psychology. Psychology major reported they were satisfied or very satisfied with their career path was reported. The same data was also reported for accounting majors. You decide to construct a 95 confidence interval to see if the observed difference is significant. Which confidence interval will be the most appropriate for this study? And I'll go for F, which is +4 confidence interval for 2 proportions.
Okay.
+4, sorry.
Yeah. O'Hare International Airport in Chicago has a reputation for having a large proportion of its flights being late. You design a study to see if the reputation is deserved. You find that the average on-time rate for international airports in the U.S. is 70%. You collect data and determine the on-time rate for O'Hare. You decide to construct a confidence interval to compare O'Hare to on-time to the national average. Which confidence interval would most be appropriate for this study? I think it would be. Would it be? Would it be F again? Because you're looking at 2 different proportions.
Let me see. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I will say F, but I'm not 100% sure. So.
What did you think?
It could be. It could be D, but I don't know because it's independent sample. But I don't know.
Which one do you feel more, F or D?
Let's go for F and see
F?
what happens. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, number 10.
Double soft Oreo cookies are supposed to have twice the feel of regular Oreo cookies. You and some friends decide you want to know if it is a true assertion by the company who makes them. You take a sample of 55 double soft Oreo cookies and measure the amount of filling each one. You need to construct that confidence interval to estimate the true mean filling amount of double stuffed Oreos in order to compare it to the filling amount in regular Oreos. Which confidence interval would be the most appropriate for this study? And I'll say one sample T confidence interval, so B.
B. Awesome. Okay, all right. Which of the following best defines the notion of a significance level of a hypothesis? And I got the probability of observing a sample statistic more extreme than one actually obtained, assuming the null hypothesis is true, so it'd be number 2.
Okay. That's weird because I have the same for number 12.
See, they're the same thing. That's just the thing.
Just to find the national, because one is the national p-value and then the significant. Okay, so I will say number 2 for 12 too.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I got the same thing.
Okay.
Okay, this one I'm kind of confused on, but I think I got this one right. Suppose you create a 95% confidence interval for a mean to get 10 and 2 to get 10 and 2. You've you've been told to report this by saying something like, we're 95% confident that the true mean is in between 10 and 2. Exactly what does this mean? And I think it's the last one. 95% of all 95% confidence intervals actually contain the true mean.
Yep.
All right.
Then from question 14 to 16, you take a simple random sample, 100 adults from a town in the western United States. Determine the proportion of those in town who invested in the stock market. Assume the unknown population proportion or percentage of people in town who invest in the stock market is 30%. What is the mean of the distribution of the sample proportions? And then it's going to be the same 30.030 or 30%.
Or what is the so? What is the mean distribution? Okay, yeah. All right. And then it asks the standard deviation of the distribution of this, and I got that it was 0.046.
Yep. And the probability that your random sample 100 adults will have a sample proportion less than 0.25 is going to be 0.138.
Yeah, 0.138.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, where do I have that one? That's the one. This one right here. I got 0.14.
1.4?
Yeah. I don't know if I would have if I.
Yeah, it's fine. Just give it one decimal, and then we'll take just increase the decimal in the Excel sheet, and they will give it to you like 0.138.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
And then 17 through 21. Through this, we'll use the following information. A drug is meant to, this specific drug is used to control hypertension. In clinic trials of the drug, 2,142 subjects were divided into 2 groups. The 1,563 subjects in the experimental group received the drug, and the 579 subjects in the control group received a placebo. Of 1,563, the experimental group, 61 experienced dizziness. Dizziness is a side effect. And of 579 subjects in the control group, 15 experienced dizziness as a side effect. Let P1 be the true proportion of the people who experience dizziness while taking the drug, and let P2 be the true proportion of the people who experience dizziness on the placebo. Create a confidence interval. Create a 95% confidence interval of P1 through P2, and this one I got number 3, .0 or negative 0.004 and 0.029.
And then the other question, it is perform a hypothesis test to see if the proportion is experimental group subject who experience dizziness is different than the proportion of control group subjects who do. So let's P1 be the true proportion of people who experience dizziness while taking Acuprel, and let P2 be the true proportion of people who experience dizziness but do not take Acuprel. Use a level significance of 0.05. And so for me, it's going to be number 2.
Yep.
The P1 is equal, and P1 can be P2.
Yep. Perfect. All right. The value of the test statistic is 1.458.
Yeah, and the value of P of your test, or the p-value of your test, is 0.145.
Yep, perfect. Um, and in 21 it says, is there significant evidence to conclude that the true portion of people who experience dizziness while taking Acupro is different than the true proportion of people who experience dizziness while not taking Acupro? And I got no, failed to reject the null hypothesis.
Okay.
You got that one right?
Number 5, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
So, okay, and the number 22 is asking us to calculate the test adhesive for the hypothesis system, assuming the requirements for the test are satisfied. So it's basically a survey conducted by 1,275 randomly selected adults aged 18 and older, and they were asked if are you a morning person or a night person. And then you use the table and the information about to answer question 22 to 25. So to calculate test adhesive for hypothesis test, the result would be 6.580.
Yep. You just pull it off the spreadsheet. The p-value I got is 0.866.
Oh, I got it wrong then, because I got 0.087.
0.087.
Yeah,
Let me see. I have the thing right here.
maybe I got it wrong.
Let me just add the information in there again and double check it, because that was the information I got with it. Give me just a second. Okay, there we go. So 97, 131, 167, 200, 190, 210, 210, 177. Oh, 210 and then 177. Make sure. Just a second. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I read that wrong. Yeah, you were right.
Okay.
It was just the numbers were small, and I took a quick glance at it and thought I saw the right answer. Yeah, you were right. It's the 0.087 for 23. Okay.
Then for 24, should you reject, if we should reject the hypothesis or no? And then the answer will be no, because the p-value is greater than 0.05.
Perfect. Then it says, do you have sufficient evidence to conclude that the age makes difference whether a person is a morning person versus a night person? Why or why not? It's going to be the last one. No, I failed to reject the null hypothesis.
Okay. Then from question 26 to 27, we have a recent book now that only 20% of all investment managers outperform the Dow Jones Industrial Average over a 5-year period. A random sample of 200 investment managers that had graduated from one of the top 10 business programs in the country were followed over the 5-year period. Picking this outperformance, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So let's pick with the true proportion of investment manager who graduate from one of the top 10 business programs who outperformed the Dow Jones over the 5-year period. So based on the results of the sample of 95 confidence interval of P, it's 0.195 and 0.315.
Yep. And the next one, suppose you have a change in design of designing the study. The sample size would be needed to construct a margin of error of 2%, which with 95%. with 95% confidence. Use the prior estimate of P equals zero point 0.2 as your for this estimate. And I got the second one, which is N equals 1537.
Perfect. And use this information for question 28 to 32. Suppose you wish to see if there is any evidence that graduates of one of the top 10 business programs perform better than others in business management managers. Conduct an hypothesis test. Use the level of significance of 0.05. Which of the following pairs of hypotheses is the most appropriate for addressing these questions? And it will be the third one, which is P equal 0.2 and more than 0.2.
Yep, that's what I got. And then it says, how many measurements must you have in order to assure the true P is normally distributed? And it's be the number 3, NP is greater than or equal to 10, and N times 1 minus NP is greater than 10.
Perfect. And the value of your test statistic is 1.768.
You see, this is the one I was having issue with. I couldn't figure out what information I needed to get the test statistic.
Well, basically, we only have the level of significance, and there is 0.5, and that's all about it. Because I had the same question, so I was looking up con otro amigo y él, y así como él me ayudó a obtenerla.
Okay. I didn't get this next one. I didn't get because I didn't understand that first one. Did you get that first? Or did you get the 31?
Yeah, I got all the 30 to 32. So for number 30 is 1.76a. Number 31, the p-value is 0.039. So
Okay.
the second one, and 32 is number 1. Just reject H0.
Okay.
The hypothesis.
So what did you guys figure out with this one? The 31 or 30 and 31? How do you get those?
Solo mi amigo me ayudó con un spreadsheet que tenía él, así que básicamente lo hizo. So basically he just helped me.
Okay. I will figure it out before I take the test, a little more studying into it. But yeah, let's go ahead and submit this, call it a night.
Okay, done.
We missed 9 and 11.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
It's 9 and 11. Awesome. So with 9, that was one of the ones we were contemplating, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that one must have been D, like you were saying. Was it D?
I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was D.
And then 11.
Probably was the probability of type 1 error. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
probably. Yeah. All right, sounds good.
I'll find that out for tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll figure it out for tomorrow. No problem.
Okay.
All right, man.
Okay, so
I'm gonna stop the broadcast right now.